Hello everyone, Sunset2, and welcome to another config related video, this time for UpToDate. And this will cover certain elements such as IDs or just other aspects like I assume worldgen or blacklisting and whitelisting of stuff. So, starting off, we have entity IDs for things like the boats and armor stands, so if you want to tweak those, you can. Moving on, we have other aspects such as an automatic updater, if you want to enable or disable that. There's a channel update checking a specific thing, so the update channel is in recommended currently. I'm assuming there's also a bunch of other options that are probably more clear in-game rather than here. You've got the ability to enable or disable debug mode access, so if you want to do that, you can. There is worldgen for the stones, specifically the ones added in 1.8, so the granite, diorite, and andesite appearing in the overworld or not. And obviously there's a blacklist as well, of I'm assuming the end in the nether, so it doesn't generate in those dimensions. You've also got the ability for fossils, which are, if I just check real quick, sort of that fossil structure, whether or not that appears in the world. You can also see the fossils there and the granite and diorite there. So if you want to enable or disable worldgen of that kind, you can. From what I remember of the actual fossils, I think they spawn in swamps and deserts, but definitely best to check the wiki to be sure, as I've never found one before, so the wiki's the only way I know that. Otherwise, you can have coarse dirt spawn as well, which I think typically only spawns in tiger biomes, or mega tigers, typically. But, yeah, you can also prevent dimensions that it spawns in as well. Then magma blocks, obviously it's preventing from spawning in the overworld and the end, since I think -1 is supposed to be the nether. So, yeah, if you want only magma blocks to spawn in the nether, then you can, which I think they usually spawn around about near lava, sometimes sort of everywhere, but at maybe lower levels of the dimension. I can't quite remember, but at least as far as I can sort of tell from my experiences of it being added in 1.10 and higher. Otherwise, you've got the ability to remove the old fence recipe. So if you want to have it where it uses the new fence recipe, which I personally think that the old one's quite a bit better, with it just being sticks and such, but yeah, since with the new woods and things, it obviously is good to have just the planks and the sticks for the new, so it makes things easier to do there. I don't know what happens if you tweak this, but we can try and find out. Otherwise, you've got the ability for it to set to the old smooth stone recipe, so if you want to change that back, you can, or the smooth stone slab recipe, I should say. So that has actually been changed, so there's that. You've got boats crashing when they collide, so if you want boats to be a lot more likely to break, then instead of more resistant, then you can change boats back to how they originally were. You've also got the ability to enable or disable any features you don't want, so if there's any blocks from any particular thing you don't want, such as, say, some of the woods and fences, or the coarse dirt and strip logs and such, because you don't think you'll want to use them, then you can remove them. And the same pretty much with some things like the flowers and the iron nuggets and the barrels and other stuff, and any other kind of stairs and slabs and walls for things like prismarine, diorite, stone, purple and such, I assume. And finally, you have squids dropping prismarine, so I wasn't sure on that how they work that out, since the structure doesn't generate, so yeah. So squids drop prismarine besides just ink sacs, and endermen also drop purple, so there's that. So we'll see the actual chance of those dropping. And see even if looting works. So I'll have to take a look at that. But otherwise, that should be everything. We'll just do this, and we'll go to configs, and I'll have to load this up here. And we'll find out. But otherwise, that's pretty much everything in terms of configs. But we'll see how much changes based on what things I have tweaked accordingly. Dimension stuff we'll leave, and we'll revert back that recipe as well to see. Boats we can leave, and that seems to be probably everything. Yep, so we'll just wait for the game to load up with those changes, and we'll see which ones actually happen to change because of when I obviously saved the config file. But yeah, so any moment we'll be able to see the changes. But yeah, a good amount of the decoration blocks and certain other things are added. So my guess is, since in the configs there's no sweet berry configs, my guess is that they do generate properly in tigers, just like the coarse dirt does, and certain other stuff that sort of fit along those lines of you're not really sure what's going on. So yeah, let's load up our world again, and we'll test with Enderman and Squid as well as, what was the other settings? Let's see, recipes for boats and such. Yep, okay. So, let's see, slab recipe, stone slab or smooth slab, so you've got the old recipe as well there now. And for fences we have, I'm assuming still the same? Not too sure on that then. Remove old fence recipe. Oh, okay, whether it removes it or not. I'm assuming that's for the oak one specifically. So if I went to that, you can see that the old one's possibly not there now. So you're still getting the new ones, but the old one for the oak one is not there anymore if you remove it. So that's the change there being made. And we'll just spawn in squids and endermen so you can see drops for prismarine and otherwise. And we'll get a sword, we'll get two in particular, and we'll get looting on one if I can. This is going to be tricky. No, it's not going to show it for me, so I'm going to need to go into creative to find this. And we'll go looting, get an anvil, and we'll see if we can actually get anything from that. So let's see, regular, so we're getting prismarine pretty easily. We'll see if we get anything else from it. We're getting the crystals and the shards, so it kind of differs depending. So there's that. And I assume it doesn't really matter, but who knows. Enderman's obviously not going to in the rain, which is unfortunate, so we'll remove that. So you get crystals and shards, making it easier to make both the sea lanterns and the other prismarine blocks. And if we go with the enderman, we'll see what happens there if they stand still. Okay, so we're going to need to go to night time, unfortunately. And I could probably go with sharpness actually on some of these, so that makes things easier. So we don't have to deal with this as much of being a problem. Let's get their health down. Okay, so not a fan of the damage. Okay, so nothing really there. We'll try with looting, and instantly we got some ninja cash, which is not what we're after. So we're still getting ninja cash. Can we get a chance at purple, please? It seems that we, for some reason, can't. Okay, so what am I missing then? I guess this is supposed to be the block, because there's no chorus fruit or purple other type of form, so I'm not too sure there. What was it again? We were needing alternate purpose, make individual purpose stuff, which would be the block. So I'm not too sure on that one, unfortunately. For some reason, it just doesn't want to drop for me, even with the looting. But squids definitely you can get prismarine from, no problem. I don't know if the Ninja Cache mod is probably preventing this, but even still, it technically shouldn't, because I even got more food from the squid anyways, regardless. So that is quite strange. Yeah, because I happen to get the raw calamari from a different mod. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching though, and goodbye. If there's anything I missed, let me know, and I'll try and answer those questions in the comments.